and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all to a brand new edition of Boxing 411. Guys, we are currently waiting for our featured guest of the evening to join us. Until then, well, we're going to talk about some the latest boxing news and the latest things happening. Guys, before we move forward, we do have to remind everyone that this show is brought to you by FightSaga.com and Box.Buzz. Guys, for all the latest boxing news, please go visit Box.Buzz, B-U-Z-Z. For all the latest boxing news, it is your centralized hub linking in all major boxing media outlets. But, guys, while we're waiting for Mr. Green to join us, we are going to give you latest boxing news. This just posted, guys, and reported by BoxingScene.com by the esteemed Mr. Jake Donovan. He's the editor over there. And the headline states, Adrien Broner sent to jail for contempt of court. Boy. So Adrien Broner was sent back to prison today, apparently, after being held in contempt of court Monday. In Cleveland, Ohio, at the County Common Pleas Court, right? Broner was scheduled to appear to explain his failure to resolve a civil lawsuit stemming from an incident in 2008 for which he still owes over $800,000. Adrien Broner and his attorney, Stanley Jackson, were both late. That's a shocker. To the scheduled 1 p.m. hearing, along with his answers not at all satisfying the judge assigned to the case. Quoted by the Honorable Miss Judge Nancy Margaret Russo, she had this to say, quote, Mr. Broner has continually defied every court order I've given. The jig is up today. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so this incident stems from an altercation which took place at a nightclub in Cleveland's Warehouse District in June of 2018. Broner was formally charged of sexual assault in November 2018, shortly after having formally announced his January 2019 challenge of legendary Manny Pacquiao in a headline Showtime pay-per-view. Broner was permitted to proceed with the fight, dropping a 12-round decision in his last ring appearance to date, and his legal team fought for his freedom. It looks like they're going to have to do the same thing again. Because according to Steven Espinosa, he's got a fight scheduled for January 16th against an unnamed opponent. He's battling the dreaded TVA. So, yeah, this is what Adrien had to say, right? When Judge Russo, when she questioned Broner about the lavish lifestyle he portrays on social media, including showing off stacks of money, which completely contradicts his official claims of being cash poor, right? He said this, quote, my friends, I have rich friends. Gervonta Davis, Al Heyman, Steven Espinosa. I got to fight January 16th. After the fight, I can just pay them back. Apparently, it wasn't good enough for the judge, who demands proof of such. So now he's going to be sent to the Hoosgow, and he's going to be waiting for a hearing that's been set for Wednesday, November 4th. Broner's legal team will be required at that time to provide complete and truthful information about his financial status to the Chandra law firm representing the woman who Broner allegedly assaulted. And until then, he is going to remain in jail until sufficient proof of finances is provided. Oh, boy. I tell you what, it's just fitting, guys. We go from one delusional fighter to another. Because when we should be talking about prize fighters and their accomplishments, right? Unfortunately, what's been dominating the news has been these absurd claims from delusional fighters, right? Obviously, Deontay Wilder has been at the forefront of the news, right? Pretty much accusing everybody except he's been accusing everyone for his loss to Tyson Fury in his second fight this past February, right? He's been blaming everyone except, well, the person he should be blaming, and that's the person he looks in the mirror every day. This is what happens when you don't listen to the very intelligent people on your team and you listen to the idiots that you surrounded that are just merely blowing smoke up your rear end. This is what happens, guys. And you know what? This is nothing new to boxing. This is nothing new to boxing. You know, and it's funny, our mentor, God rest his soul, the great Don Chargan, in which the show is aptly named, right? Warwick Chargan. He warned me about this. He said, you know what, Joseph? You'll always have disgruntled fighters. Always, because they don't listen to the very wise and business-savvy people who are currently navigating their business and navigating their careers. They listen to the ignorant people surrounding them, their posse, their group, their friend zone, their circle of friends, the guys who don't know jack poop about the business. It's absurd. So this is what you get. And Don used to always call them urban advisors because they don't know anything about the business, and that's what you're hearing. You're hearing a lot of people influence Deontay Wilder. Has his mind convinced that he was drugged. That's the latest one, guys. He was drugged. His water was spiked before the fight. I'm going to read you this, and this has been reported, and apparently he did this phone interview at 78 Sports TV, whatever that is. And he said this, and I'm going to quote. I'm going to read from Deontay Wilder. About 15 minutes before going out to the fight, warming up on the mitts, I was perfect. I felt great. That's until I went to the ring. That transformation, I was drinking certain water and stuff, trying to keep myself hydrated. I just started feeling weird. My water was spiked as if I took a muscle relaxer or something like that. After a fight is over with and it don't go in your favor, you're always looking for what happened. Certain things, the atmosphere just didn't seem right. I felt like something was about to go down and not in my favor. It wasn't the suit. My water was tampered with. This feeling here, it was a different feeling. It was like I had no control over my body, my legs were weak, and stuff like that. He went on to say this. If you knew Deontay Wilder, you'd know that I'm going to draw my sword, I'm going to live by that sword, and I'm going to die by that sword. I'm going to live and die by that, period. And I've been telling my people that for 5 years, so that ain't nothing new to them. So he, Mark Breland, so he knew that. When he did that, he already had orders not to do that. He even had somebody on Fury's side to tell him, throw in the towel, they got a rematch. Because I believe he, Mark Breland, was part of it. He was part of it. And even more so, I think he's got something to do with my water as well, too. He was the only one handling my water. He was the only one. I have strong sources. End quote. Okay, he goes on to say this. There's even more, guys. Quote, we warned Mark not to do that. That wouldn't have been Mark's place to do that. And on top of that, this mother didn't even give me a warning that he was going to do that. But if you're part of the plot, that ain't going to matter because that shit going to be on you at the end of the night. He had to fulfill the obligation. He had to do something. Talk about saving my life. Saving my life is stopping me from jumping off a building. When I'm in the ring, man to man, you ain't saving my life. In round 7, I'm getting myself back together, and all of a sudden the towel is thrown in. What's the odds of that happening? I'm gathering myself. My momentum is coming. While I'm looking into his eyes, he's looking tired. He's looking fatigued. When the referee stopped at that mother effer, was the most happiest mother effer on earth. End quote. And now he has this to, so he's accusing now former trainer Mark Breland of being in on the ruse, in on the conspiracy, everything to bring down Deontay Wilder. Oh, woe is me. Now he actually points to Kenny Bayless being in on the jig, right? He had this to say about Kenny Bayless. Quote, the referee coming in the dressing room, I could feel his negative energy when he was reading the rules to me. His eyes looked like he took a cocktail drink before going into the fight, too. His energy felt like, I'm going to do something to you, you black man, but I've got to do it. I'm a crab in the bucket. Whatever the hell that means. He was leaning on me. He elbowed me as well, elbowed me in my face as well, too. The ref ain't do nothing. Every time I've seen the referee, he's breaking shit up. He acted like he ain't know what's going on. Either this mother effer, he was drunk, or he was part of it. Which one was it? End quote. So, guys, now he went from blaming Tyson Fury. Then he blamed Ricky Hatton for being a part of the first fight in helping him with Glovegate, right? Now he's blaming Mark Breland, and he's also blaming veteran referee Kenny Bayless. Boy, this guy is some piece of work. And, you know, unfortunately, this is a product, guys. This is a product of, well, him buying into his own BS, right? You remember going into the fight, they were, and once again, PBC should be commended with the way that they promoted the rematch in February. They did a masterful job of creating this almost Paul Bunyan-esque reputation for Deontay Wilder, saying that he was the most feared puncher in the history of the sport, that he was a bigger puncher than George Foreman, that he was a bigger puncher than Ernie Shavers, that King Kong didn't have anything on him. And he bought into it, not realizing that, hey, man, we need to do something to promote this event because you got smoked like a cheap cigar. You were lucky to get a draw out of that first decision, that first fight. So in order to sell this fight, we've got to do something. Yeah, unfortunately, he bought into it. And now that he lost, he can't believe it. Now let's go ahead and analyze this thing, guys. Until I went in about 15 minutes before going out of the fight. Now, once again, we're reading his quotes again. Warming up in the mitts. I was perfect. I felt great until I went in the ring. That transformation. I was drinking certain water and stuff, trying to keep dehydrated. I started feeling weird. My water was spiked as if I took a muscle relaxer or something like that. After the fight was over with, okay. It's called anxiety, Deontay. Up until that point, you had never been part of an event with that kind of promotion, that kind of media coverage. And once again, credit to both Fox and ESPN, Top Rank, and PBC. They did a masterful job. In fact, I hadn't seen a heavyweight promotion like that. Honestly, it felt like Evander Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis, too. It felt like the biggest fight in the world, a clash of titans. Deontay, that's anxiety, brother, that you are feeling. Okay, guys, we're going to pick this apart, right? Because, we're still waiting for our brother Rodney Green. So let's pick this thing apart. Let's go back to his original claims, right? That was part of that absurd 2-minute video that he made and he put out on Saturday, right? Let's go back to the glove. We're going to pick everything apart. Quote, I saw in the first fight when Ricky Hatton was pulling down your gloves to put your fist in the improper position. Y'all tried the same method the second time, only this time you scratched flesh out of my ears that caused my ears to bleed. It's impossible for a brand new 10-ounce glove to bend, to keep a smushed-in form, or to have loose space. I highly believe you put something hard in your glove, something the size and the shape of an egg weight. It's the reason the side of my face swelled up in an egg weight shaped form. It left a dent in my face as well. Okay, first of all, guys, and I've stated this for a very long time, right? Stated this for a very long time. I think it's kind of an unfair advantage for someone who's a super heavyweight like Tyson Fury, like Deontay Wilder, like Anthony Joshua, to wear only 10-ounce gloves. Just like someone who's the size of maybe Alexander Usyk or Michael Hunter. Because, and I've felt this way going back to the days of Lennox Lewis, Vitaly Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko, Nikolai Valuyev, because you've got 10-ounce gloves. When you look at the size of a hand, like a guy with the hands as big as Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, guys, if you ever try to put on a 10-ounce gloves and you have hands the size of hammocks, there is no room. You can't even take it off by yourself. You need two people to pull that glove off your hand. You have no room to put an egg weight in there or anything else but your hand. And furthermore, if you actually put a weight at the end of your glove, every time you'd try to punch, it would smash every bone in your hand. This is absurd. It's insanity. Deontay Wilder is going absolutely insane. He's trying to make sense of something that he thought for sure would never happen. And he's become delusional as a result. He's trying to make sense of something that he thought would never happen. And that was lose to someone he thought before had pillow fists. Tyson Fury. Yeah. So let's look back once again at his statements, right? I highly believe you put something hard in your glove. Yeah, it was called his hand, his fist. You look at the size of Tyson Fury. Sorry, man. If he actually tries to punch through the target, he's going to knock anybody out. Mr. Pillow Fist, look at his record. Look at how many knockouts Pillow Fist actually has on his resume. I don't care who you are and how good your chin is, any heavyweight can get knocked out by a guy who weighs over 250 pounds. I don't care how good your chin is. I don't care if your chin is as good as Vitaly Klitschko's. Dr. Iron Fist almost got knocked out by Corey Sanders. Another big man with a sledgehammer for a hand. This is just insane, guys. So anyway, we're about 20 minutes in, guys, and I don't know if we're going to be joined by Rodney Green. We'll stay on the air just in case. But I'll say this, guys. Yeah, this is not a good look. And to be honest with you, unless he actually files a formal complaint and presses formal charges of criminal activity, don't believe a word of this. And it's crazy how many people actually believe this rubbish. I don't even think Wilder really believes it. Because in the same breath, right, after accusing this guy of criminal activity in the ring, he had this to say immediately on Twitter. Fury, quote, "It's time for you to be a man and honor your agreement. What is this bullshit of you fighting Carlos Takam instead of me? You got to be kidding. When you were going through your darkest time, I told you that if you got yourself together, I would give you a title shot. Well, being a man of my word, I gave you the title shot. When the fight was a draw, I told you that I would give you a rematch. You know I was offered more money to fight Joshua than I was getting to fight you. Again, being a man of my word, I fought you like I said I would. In the rematch agreement, there was a rematch clause. Now it's time for you to be a man and honor your word instead of trying to weasel out of our agreement. Scared people run, but a scared man will break his contract. You coward-ass bitch. End quote. So, guys, 1 minute he's accusing Tyson Fury of criminal action, right? That's assault. He could do jail time if he's proven guilty. But once again, proven guilty. You need motive and you need evidence, right? So he accuses him of this and then immediately asks for a rematch. Guys, if you think someone tried to criminally assault you with a weapon or a weight, do you want to step in the ring with him again? Like, why would you be asking for another fight with this guy if you think that he genuinely cheated? Once again, guys, do not believe any of this rubbish. Don't believe it. Until he files a formal charge to the proper authorities, no one should believe any of this rubbish. This is a delusional rant from a very troubled man who's having a hard time dealing with his only professional loss. It's disgraceful. And I'll tell you what it is. It's a black eye to boxing. He's been watching too many movies, thinking that some gangster, some mafia operation was in on this. Guys, that's only in Hollywood. That doesn't happen. All the precautions taken by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, as well as, so protocol doesn't allow any of this. They regulate things so stringently. There's no way that anyone could cheat in a huge fight like this. There's no way he could have tampered with the gloves. There's no way he could have taken the padding out. And there's no way there's any room in that glove to fit anything else but Tyson Fury's giant hand. So unless you see him file charges with the police, file a police report, ask for an investigation from the police, because that is criminal. So until you see that, don't believe it. This guy's delusional. Oh, boy. And to be honest with you, the way he's carrying on, I don't think he's ever going to get another big event from anyone else from this point forward. And he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve another shot. He doesn't deserve another $1 million payday until he actually publicly apologizes to everyone that he's accused. He's got no evidence. Oh, I've got scientific proof. Really? What, just like the autopsy photos? Come on, man. Just suck it up. You got your ass whooped. Just deal with it, man. It happens in boxing. You're in the heavyweight division. Everyone gets knocked out in the heavyweight division. Everybody, if they hang around long enough, can compete at the elite level in the heavyweight division, your time is going to come. Ask Lennox Lewis, a fighter who's beaten everyone he's ever stepped foot in the ring with. But that didn't keep him from getting knocked out twice. Oh, my word. So, talk about excuses. This is what Dillian White, heavyweight contender, had to say about this, right? He said this, quote, "I don't think we'll ever see him in the ring ever again. He's a coward and a disgrace. The behavior he's shown and the way he's acted, blaming everyone apart from himself, getting rid of the only person in his corner who knows anything about boxing. It's weird. I didn't give one excuse after my defeat. I went straight back into training and started working on what I did wrong," end quote. Absolutely. Look, he was the better man that night. That's it. Anyone who believes otherwise is delusional and doesn't know the protocol and the measures, the cautionary measures taken before fights. He had no opportunity, Tyson Fury, to tamper with any glove, the horsehair paffins that he prefers. Guys, here's the real problem. Once again, Deontay Wilder doesn't listen to the very intelligent people that he has in his corner. If he consulted Al Heyman before mouthing off like a big idiot, what do you think Al Heyman would have told him? You know what, buddy? Suck it up, because it won't look good. If you truly feel that he assaulted you, file criminal charges. He hasn't done that yet. And why? Because he has no evidence, he has no proof. And he'll look like a damn fool doing it, just like he does now. He was in a prize fight. He got his ass whooped. End of story. Now he's got no chance of getting a third fight after carrying on like this. Guys, like we've stated before on this show, I don't care if you have bad blood with the guy that you're going to be fighting. Your business partners. Okay? Your business partners. You do not defame your opponent. You don't slander his name and expect to get another multi-million-dollar payday. It doesn't work like that. If you think he's just trying to generate interest in a third fight, well, this is the wrong way to do it, and it's not going to work. I guarantee you Bob Arum and Tyson Fury and Frank Warren, they don't want to have anything more to do with Deontay Wilder from this point forward, because he's acting like a damn fool. In fact, because of this, you're not going to see Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua want to go anywhere near him either. I would doubt it very seriously if he ever gets a big money fight ever again. I'm with Dylan White. I don't think we'll ever see him in the ring in a meaningful fight ever again. And to be honest with you, he doesn't deserve it. Now, guys, we're going to segue into the next topic, right? Which is something that's been rampant all over Twitter and Facebook, and that's talking about Gervonta Davis's gloves, right? Because this is pretty much the same situation. Let me explain protocol to you guys, because I've been in the locker room. I've been a part of several fighters' camps, doing PR work, publicity for them, getting them press, and I've seen what goes on in the back. In a big fight, what happens is you are presented straight from the manufacturer's packaging. Okay, and they usually do this after the weigh-in, right? They have a scale to measure the weight of the gloves as well, right there, to make sure that they're up to spec. 10 ounces, right? So the commission has these straight from the manufacturer. They tear them out of the plastic. Both teams inspect the gloves, and you choose two pairs, pair A, pair B. In case one of the gloves has a flaw in it or doesn't feel right or it tears or something happens, you have a backup pair. As soon as both camps approve of those pairs and sign off on it, then immediately the State Athletic Commission wraps them back up and keeps them until it's time for you to put them on and get ready for the fight. It doesn't leave their sight. So Gervonta Davis tried on the Elvis Grant gloves, right? And he said, you know what, my left glove doesn't feel right. I'd like to switch it out for the B gloves, the ones that were pre-approved by Leo Santa Cruz's team as well. So the commission officer gets the gloves pending approval from Leo Santa Cruz's team, right? So they bring in the other pair. He puts them on. They sign off on it, and we're ready to go. What's the problem? There is no problem. Guys, you need to quit watching movies in which everyone in boxing cheats. Guys, fighters have way too much to deal with to even think about cheating. They're focused on facing a guy mano a mano in the ring who wants to beat their ass. That's what they're focused on. They don't want any interviews. They don't want to think about anything else but what they have to do in the ring. Oh, goodness gracious, guys. It's shocking. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure where this is coming from. Like, do fans really believe this shit? Like, do they really believe that these guys want to cheat? Guys, I've talked to dozens of fighters. You ask them if they want any unfair advantage going into a fight. No. It's like, no, I want to beat the hell out of the guy. I want to prove that I'm better than he is. I want him to come in at 100%, or at least as close to it as I can. I want to prove that I'm the best guy. I want him to come in shape. I want to win fairly. None of these guys want to win by cheating. Oh, geez. It's silly. Tell you what, the only thing I can say that fighters do, right, to give themselves an advantage physically is they will actually take performance-enhancing drugs. That's something that is indeed rampant through the boxing community. But that's the extent of it. No one tampers with their gloves. No one wants to win that way. Especially not Gervonta Davis or Floyd Mayweather. Especially not Tyson Fury. This is just silly. Yeah, and I can't believe this is an issue. This is actually something that's being brought up. This is just a damn shame, guys. But I tell you what, it looks like we're not going to be joined tonight by our friend Rodney Green. But, so yeah, we might be cutting this episode a little short. But, yeah, Gervonta Davis, yeah, he may be a lot of things. But, no, he's not going to use tampered gloves, and the commission won't allow it. The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations, right? They're not going to allow this. They're always in his company. Again, it's on video, guys. Don't take my word for it. Go look at the video captured, right? They had cameras and someone shooting the footage of Gervonta Davis getting laced up with the new gloves, with Floyd Mayweather back there the entire time, right? Again, guys, he won fair and square, and it was a hell of a fight. To take anything away from his accomplishment is just silly, and it's terrible. If you were pulling for Leo Santa Cruz, well, you should be proud of your fighter, man. He put up a hell of a fight, and he simply got caught. But until that time where that mammoth left uppercut landed, boy, he was making a very honorable account of himself. And I know a lot of people who counted him out. But it was a very competitive, entertaining fight up to that point. And he was doing a great job. I was really impressed. So, yeah, don't take anything away from Gervonta Davis's victory. Just like Deontay Wilder shouldn't be taking anything away from Tyson Fury's victory. He won fairly. He won fair and square. That's it. But, yeah, sometimes, guys, fighters, they have such a hard time dealing with loss, especially when they think that they're incapable of getting knocked out. It's very hard for them to deal with. When you have the kind of ego and the confidence, brimming with confidence like Deontay Wilder, it's hard to deal with. But suck it up, man. It's part of the sport. You lost. If there truly is foul play, and once again, guys, I wrote an article about this on FightSaga.com. Go check it out. And I stated this part editorial, right? I stated this in the article. Guys, unless he actually files formal charges against Tyson Fury, no one should take or put any credence into any of this rubbish, any of these accusations. It's all rubbish. It's all nonsense. Guys, so let's take a look at Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. What's going to happen, right? What's going to happen with both guys? Yeah, Leo needs to take some time off. Boy, he got his bell rung. He was put to sleep. Take some time off before you decide to get back in the ring. Get some rest. Let your body recover. Let your brain and body recover from this. Gervonta Davis, a lot of people are talking about him possibly fighting Teofimo Lopez. I know Floyd is trying to say, oh, yeah, my guy's the eight. You know what? That's just rubbish. That's just nonsense. That's a moot discussion. He being the A side against Teofimo Lopez. Truth is, that fight will never happen. As long as Showtime is still a platform that features boxing, and as long as Mayweather Promotions is still loyal to Steven Espinosa and Showtime, that fight will never happen, guys. The two fights that will happen, right, in 2021 in the lightweight division, the two easiest fights to make, and they're two blockbusters. Teofimo Lopez versus Vasyl Lomachenko 2, the rematch. That is the biggest fight that and the easiest fight that Teofimo Lopez can make at 35. That is if Teofimo Lopez can even still make 135 pounds. He may not be able to, or he may not be willing to at this point. Right? So that all depends. But that is the easiest fight to make, and that's the fight that ESPN and Bob Arum wants the most. So just like in the case of Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Steven Espinosa, ESPN, after paying all of this money, investing all of this money in Teofimo Lopez, creating his stardom, they're not going to feel good about him competing on a rival platform like Showtime Sports. They're going to get pissed. They're going to feel slighted, and they're going to feel ripped off. Bob Arum's not going to allow that to happen. In this business, you do not bite the hand that feeds you. So the two fights that will be made in the lightweight division next year, the two big ones. Now, if Ryan Garcia is successful in his next outing, right, which he will be. Oh, boy. Guys, and once again, look, guys, I know Luke Campbell is a very good fighter, and he's definitely the most accomplished fighter, right, that Ryan Garcia will have faced up to date, right? But let me tell you why Luke Campbell's going to get knocked the F out. Luke Campbell, he's a southpaw, right? And what he hasn't really factored into this is a lot like De La Hoya, a lot like Miguel Cotto. Ryan Garcia is a converted southpaw. His power hand is his left hook, even though he fights out of the orthodox stance. His primary weapons are his jab and his left hook, right? Well, Luke Campbell is a jabbing southpaw, and he has a bad habit, and he uses it to try and control range, that with his feet. But as soon as he's slow to pull that jab back, he's going to get countered with a hard left hook, and it's going to be all she wrote. It's going to be all over. He's going to knock out Luke Campbell. And Devin Haney this weekend, boy, he's going to make light work of Yuriorkis Gamboa. And guys, excuse me, I really liked Gervonta Davis versus Yuriorkis Gamboa. I really like that matchup. Both guys are comparable in size. Both guys are heavy hitters. Before the torn Achilles tendon, I really liked that matchup. Unfortunately, Yuriorkis Gamboa doesn't match up very well with Devin Haney. He's going to get his clock cleaned. You've got a guy who's 5'8". He's not a natural featherweight. He's not a natural super featherweight. Devin Haney is only 21, and he's probably going to grow to compete as high as 154. He's that big and he's that strong. He's too tall, too rangy, too young, too powerful, too quick for Yuriorkis Gamboa to be able to get inside and pose any kind of serious threat. Devin Haney is going to pick him apart from mid to long range from start to finish until he stops him in the early to mid rounds. I can't see this one going past 6. So the fight that's easiest to make are both DAZN fighters. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, that's a super fight. That is a great elite level matchup of two of the young baddest dudes, man, in the division. And it's an easy fight to make because they're both competing on the same platform. Even though they have rival promoters, Matchroom Sport and Golden Boy Promotions, they're still under contract with DAZN. That's an easy fight to make. So, guys, Gervonta Davis, don't look for him to compete against anyone at 35. And if he does, well, it's going to be someone from PBC, right? Guys, the fight that Gervonta Davis is going to make next year is going to be at 130 pounds. And it's going to be against Gary Russell Jr. Yep. You're finally going to get to see it. Gervonta Davis versus Gary Russell Jr., and that's a great fight. But you can forget about him fighting Teofimo Lopez. That's an impossible fight to make right now. So get ready. It's going to happen, guys. Gervonta Davis versus Gary Russell Jr. How about that, huh? Oh, boy. I tell you what's really intriguing is Coach Gogi, right? We're going to shift gears a little bit. Coach Gogi, he was very high on, and as much as he likes to make fun of Jaime Munguia, right? Golden Boy prospect, former 154-pound title holder, now competing at 160 pounds, just had a very, very impressive outing against the always tough Toriano Johnson, right? Coach Gogi actually was very high on pitting Jaime Munguia against Triple G to compete on the Cinco de Mayo weekend, boxing weekend on DAZN. And most people insist, and they're probably right about this, that, he's not ready for Gennady Golovkin. But, guys, Gogi is a very, very wise boxing mind, right? And not only strategically, but he understands the business aspect of boxing as well. So when you look at this, and you look at the ongoing lawsuit with Canelo, right? Canelo's going to be out probably the entire 2021 year. I know boxing fans probably don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. Unless he drops a suit, which isn't going to happen, because once again, disgruntled fighters always get terrible advice by people who don't know any better. and that's the case. Canelo is claiming fraud charges. Fraud? Well, going by his contract with Golden Boy Promotions, but he has no idea what Golden Boy's contract entails with DAZN. He's never even seen the contract. So how can both parties be in breach? Anyway, don't expect Canelo to drop the lawsuit anytime soon and do the right thing. Make nice with Golden Boy and get back in the ring. That's not going to happen. So in the interim, look for Golden Boy to really push Jaime Munguia. And the best way to create stars in this sport is to stick them in the ring with other stars. Roll the dice and hope for the best. At this stage of Gennady Golovkin's career, I'm willing to take that bet if I'm Oscar De La Hoya, because you need someone. You need someone who's going to fill that void while Canelo's out. And if Jaime Munguia somehow scores a big hit, pulls off the improbable and beats Gennady Golovkin, well, then you've got a huge matchup. Mexican versus Mexican, Jaime Munguia versus Canelo Alvarez in 2022. By the time Canelo actually gets all of this out of his system. I love that fight. Honestly, I think Gennady Golovkin knocks out Jaime Munguia because, once again, Jaime Munguia doesn't have the kind of defensive skill to go 12 rounds with a guy who punches as hard as Gennady Golovkin. And, yeah, Gennady Golovkin isn't what he used to be, but the guy can still crack. Yeah, until someone proves otherwise. Yeah, Gennady Golovkin is still one of the hardest punchers, if not the hardest puncher in that division. Golden Boy out of necessity. And once again, what's the old saying? Invention is the mother of necessity. Or I'm sorry, wrong way. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. So you may see Golden Boy have to pull the trigger on Jaime Munguia stepping up in competition and taking on someone who's an existing star like Gennady Golovkin. Wouldn't that be something? Cinco de Mayo weekend. First weekend in May. Jaime Munguia versus Gennady Golovkin. I love the fight. Promoters love the fight. DAZN would certainly love the fight. Don't be surprised if it happens, guys, because Canelo will not be fighting before then. Well, I don't know what that guy is thinking. He's in the prime of his career, and he's just letting it piss away. Just pissing it away, all because he feels that Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya is disloyal. Look, brother, you've got your management team to fight for you. Oscar De La Hoya is a promoter. He doesn't have to kiss your ass and do what's best for you. Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, they've got 80 fighters that they have to think about. They also have to think about keeping the network happy, the platform, the person who pays the bills. Right? Canelo, yeah, he's the biggest star in their stable and provides probably over 95% of their annual income. But their job is to try and keep everyone happy, not just Canelo Alvarez. He's acting like a prima donna little bitch here. Well, let's shift gears, guys, and go and let's take a look at the return of the real King Kong, right? Luis Ortiz, Alexander Flores. Yeah, this is going to be on the flagship Fox this Saturday night, November 7th. You know what, guys? I'm really sick of this. And honestly, I love the real King Kong, Luis Ortiz. I think he's a great fighter, and I think he's one of the best heavyweights in the world right now. But I don't like this fight to headline Fox. Al Heyman should have made a stronger effort to put Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz on Fox. Could you imagine? Now, once again, this stems from, once again, Showtime has invested a lot of money cultivating the star that is Gervonta Davis. And Mayweather Promotions and Floyd Mayweather is very loyal to Steven Espinosa and Showtime. So that's the reason why Gervonta Davis is exclusive to Fox, or exclusive to Showtime, right? But what should have happened? Luis Ortiz versus Alexander Flores should be on regular subscriber Showtime. And Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz should have been on Fox. Could you imagine how many people would have seen that sensational knockout if it had been on Fox? Probably had a crowd between 3 and 4 million, right, watching this fight on Halloween night. Instead, you maybe got between 150,000 and 200,000, and I'm being nice. It's a real shame, guys. Floyd saying, oh, yeah, my guy's the A side. Well, he may have been before Teofimo's eye-opening effort against Vasily Lomachenko. But that's debatable now. And once again, before that fight, yeah, Gervonta Davis was the most marketable mainstream commodity at 135 pounds. After that, though, I'm not so sure. You can make a real case for Teofimo Lopez drawing that many fans with Vasily Lomachenko. So once again, it's a real shame that unless you paid for this pay-per-view event, you missed out on Knockout of the Year. And this is what's wrong with PBC right now. They're putting all of their best fights on the pay-per-view platform where no mainstream and casual fans are going to see it. And unfortunately, guys, for the health of boxing, the sport depends on mainstream and casual participation. They're the ones who pay for the pay-per-views. They're the ones who buy the tickets. They're the ones who actually make stars out of these prize fighters. Without their involvement, yeah, you might as well just be fighting on FS1. It's a shame, guys. But yeah, so that's what you have to look forward to this weekend. The real King Kong making his comeback to the ring and making light work of the overmatched Alexander Flores in your 10-round main event on Fox. Whew. And then on DAZN, you've got Devin Haney, who's going to make light work of poor 38-year-old Yuriorkis Gamboa. He's going to get his clock cleaned. So that's about it, guys. And yeah, I apologize, guys, that Mr. Rodney Green was a no-show this evening. But we'll try to reschedule. Try to get him back on tomorrow night. I don't know if we're going to be successful in that because, well, we've got the election night happening. So, yeah, we're going to have to bid everyone to do. And, guys, once again, I'm going to be writing a ton of articles on FightSaga.com as well as Box.Buzz. Want to thank you all for joining us. And we'll try to reconvene tomorrow night or Wednesday night for a show with either Rodney Green or Mr. Lee Cleveland. But I want to thank you guys for, hanging with me for the entire hour. And once again, go visit FightSaga.com. And in case you missed any part of the show, it's going to be on the YouTube platform, Warwick Radio Network on YouTube. And guys, in case you missed Gogi's show last night, it was a doozy. Go check it out. It's available right now on our YouTube page. Go check it out, guys. And tell you what, on behalf of everyone here at Warwick Radio Network, my name is Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Boxing 411. Have a great evening, everybody.